श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवान की जय। अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराज की जय। राधा कृष्ण देव की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज की जय। महंत स्वामी महाराज की जय। प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सव की जय। With prostrations at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hari, Param Pujya Pramukh Swami Maharaj and Pragat Guru Hari, Param Pujya Mahan Swami Maharaj, my heartiest namaskar, good evening, good morning, and Jai Swami Narayan to especially to Shri Samir Bhai Parikh, all the supporters and the governing council members of LEAD Awards. I can see my good friend Ashwin Gandhi on screen. I can also see Amit Dholake is a good friend of mine, and many other known people, and especially heartiest congratulations to all the finalists of the 8th Annual LEAD Awards. I really appreciate from the bottom of my heart the wonderful activity that you're carrying on. And this would give a much needed boost in today's times to the younger generation, which they direly need to come forward and do something more, something extraordinary, something special in their lives. And Samir Parikh and the team of governing councils and the supporters, they're doing really a wonderful job. I appreciate and I pray at the divine feet of Bhagwan Swaminarayan and my Guru Hariman Sai Maharaj that this, in the few years to come, today it is the 8th ceremony, but in the few years to come, it goes from interstate to international activity. So, while coming to the topic, I was asked to talk on achieving success in the midst of opposing forces. Most of you are young students in the standard 8th, 9th, 10th grade, 11th, 12th grade, and you are right at the doorstep of a vast, vast world awaiting you. Today, you are at a juncture in your life that the tomorrow awaits you with arms widespread to hug your intelligence, to hug your intellect, to hug your values, to hug the principles, norms, and disciplines that you cultivated in your life. And with all that, the tomorrow is ready to give you a wonderful height, a wonderful future, and a great success in your life. Actually, you, this generation, is going to shoulder the responsibility of the society of the nation in the days to come. And so we all look upon you to make the society a much better place with all that has been cultivated in you by your educational institutes, by your parents back home, by your association with people, and by such organizations like LEAD. So, while coming to the topic, I would suggest each and every of you, especially all the students, to read a wonderful book, The Autobiography of Bill Gates. As we all know, Bill Gates, the ex-executive chairman of Microsoft, and the self-made richest person upon this earth. He has written an autobiography, Business at the Speed of Light, in which he says, the secret of my success is three things. First is determination. Second is intense hard work. And third is the acceptance of the ideas of others. So the first stage, that is determination. Today, you all students are in the age where you can decide upon to charter your path. So keep a strong determination that I want to do something extraordinary in my life. I want to create something in my life. I want to achieve something in my life. I definitely want to be successful in my life. That determination is your stronghold. That determination generates courage. That determination has the power to carry you along in the midst of opposing forces. Because nothing can stop a determined person. Nothing. When I say nothing, it means nothing. Nothing can stop a determined person. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. If not day after tomorrow, 5 years hence, 10 years hence. Success has to come to him because he's a determined person. So my first point in sharing with you is be a determined person. Whichever field you choose, whichever track you decide in your life, be a determined person. Make a strong determination to reach the zenith, to achieve the goal, to scale the peak. And as I said, determination is the mother of all values, mother of all virtues. So Bill Gates says first is determination. If you determine, you can. As they say, if you decide, you can. If you decide, you can. I know all of your students' microphones are muted, but I would like everybody of you to repeat with me what I say. If I decide, I can. Again, if I decide, I can. So if you decide, you can. That is called determination. I share a wonderful example with you. Perhaps you might have heard the name of Marvin Atpatu, a famous cricketer from Sri Lanka. He played wonderfully in the domestic circuit, performed well, scored runs. And one fine morning, he got that elusive call from the Sri Lankan national board to play for the Sri Lanka national 11. He joins the team, goes abroad with the team. His first exposure on the international field, first test match of his life. First innings, he scores a 0. Second innings, he scores a 0. Now, anybody would feel bad. If we were at his place, we would also feel that this shouldn't have happened. Well, he was benched, and the Sri Lankan board decided to call him back. He was not allowed to play the rest of the test series and even the international series. He comes back, his family counsels him, and he joins the domestic circuit. Again, he works hard on his game, tries and tries again to improve upon his own loopholes, improve upon his own weaknesses, so as to become a better person the next time, which is a human endeavor. To improve upon our deficiencies, to improve upon our weaknesses, and try to become a better person is a human endeavor. And the 7 billion population, everybody passes through this stage. Again, after 21 months, he gets that call and he joins the playing 11. Again, the first test of that series, he scores a 0 in the first innings, scores a 0 in the second innings. Again, he's benched, called back to the country. This time he himself was quite depressed. And his family started telling him that, come on now, Marvin. We know that cricket is your hobby and your passion, and you want to make a career in cricket. But well, now to get a third call from the playing national 11 from the board is something that no player would get. So it's better that you join the family business. Marvin Atpatu had a wonderful family business, and let me tell you that he was a qualified chartered accountant. So even his friends told him that you have a family business, you have the option of joining a family business or You can start your practice as a chartered accountant. You have a wonderful office building. There can always be a chamber for you, and you can start your practice. Marwan Atpatu said no. See the determination that I'm talking of. He said that I have decided, come what may, I will either play cricket for my country or, and the friend stopped him by catching hold of his hand. He wanted to say that, or I'll die. But I'm determined to play. He again goes back to the domestic cricket. Again, after 19 months, he gets that call, which is very rare for any cricketer to get. First innings, 0. Second innings, 1. Now the Sri Lankan press started targeting the ball. Why are you giving so much chances to a person? First call 0-0, second call after 21 months 0-0, third call after 19 months 0-1. So in a span of 40 months, that is 3.5 years almost, he has scored just 1 run on his 6 appearances on the international stage for the country. The press started writing against him that Marwan Atpatu is not a big match material. Marwan Atpatu is not made for the international stage. He fears international pace bowlers. Unfortunately, all the 6 times he got out to pace bowling. Now the family was really strong in their stand that you may play cricket for 2 hours in the morning and you may play at the domestic level, but forget your international career. Marwan Atpatu was determined. He again goes to the domestic circuit, again goes to the grain, passes through that grain, and again after, you won't believe, 3 years, that is 36 months, he gets that call. And he knew that this could perhaps be the last call of my life. But then he had come out a better person, and he scores a wonderful half century on the appearance. That brought out a great batsman from him. He plays for the next 12 to 13 years for his country, scores 16 international tons, scores 6 double centuries and more than 5,000 runs for Test cricket for Sri Lanka. This is called determination. Once you decide, come what may. Once you decide to do it, don't fall back. I have read more than 400 to 500 biographies and autobiographies of great personalities from Gandhi to Sardar to Nelson Mandela to Abraham Lincoln. With you young students today, in the presence of your elite elders, I'd like to tell you this, that all these great personalities did face unbelievable scale of opposition in their lives. They did have to face most unexpected, most unpredictable opposition to their thought processes, to their actions, even when most of them always had the idea of not just giving a product to the world, but doing genuine good for humanity. Along with the product that they gave, it was an intention of genuine good for the society. Still, they faced harsh oppositions. Today, we see that harsh opposition being faced by the top guy in our country, the top person in our country. And still, see the determination he has. At the age of 70, to work 16 and 18 hours a day, just for the good of the society, with a strong determination, only it is possible. Otherwise, it is not. The amount of opposing forces that he is facing today, I think all of us, as young students today in our country, India, we must look at the top person, the Prime Minister of our country, Honorable Narendra Bhai Modi, that in the midst of this opposition, we can see him cool, we can see him calm, we can see him doing his work, we can see him traveling, we can see him, his inputs, his fingerprints in all sections, in all works of the government. We can see him constantly thinking for the betterment of the society, constantly inspiring. The amount of opposition, the amount of challenges, the amount of criticism that he's facing, perhaps no person today in the population of 7 billion is facing opposition, criticism that he is facing today. But you can see his posture, calm, cool, steadfast, hardworking, approach, attitudes, presenting himself, the way he's carrying himself, in short, the way he's carrying himself is, I tell you, tons and tons of inspiration for all of us, and especially for the younger generation. So such people are determined to do it. During this lockdown, when our Honorable Prime Minister announced the first lockdown, that was in the 4th week of March, well, everything came to a halt all of a sudden. And those people who could go back to their homes from certain places that they were working far away from their houses, from their homes, families, they went back, but certain people got stranded because they were working at faraway states from their home states, from their families. One such case is of the students of Indian Institute of Technology, Mandi, IIT Mandi students. This IIT Mandi students, they got stranded there. A few professors, lecturers, and lab technicians, they also got stranded within the campus. We knew it was a 21-day lockdown. So a couple of days later, they all met and said that if for 21 days we don't do any activity and we just sit down and do nothing, we'll get roasted. Let's do something. My second point in telling you is that if there is an opposing force like a situation that's like a lockdown and everything, you're not about to move and you can't almost do anything physically, whatever you can do, sitting at one place, people have created. People have amassed millions of dollars in this lockdown because they thought something new. These IT Mandi students, they decided to do something. Well, this attitude of doing something under any circumstances is going to bring you success. So my second point is this: keep an attitude of doing something, even in the midst of any opposing situations, or if at all the situations are not favorable. This IT Mandi students, they had a brainstorming session for 3 days, and somebody came up with an idea that can we make masks from waste material? Well, that was an out of the box, out of the blue expression. And well, some pessimists, they said, come on, yeah, you can't make masks from waste material. What type of waste material you want to use? And the student who had proposed this, he said that let's think over that, but let us help the environment also by converting some waste material into some useful ones, and masks that we make should be affordable, should be N95 quality. And again, the brainstorming session started and went on for 2 days. The lecturers, the professors, the lab technicians also sat in the sessions. And finally, somebody came up with an idea that can we make masks of N95 quality, but still very cheap and affordable from waste water bottles, the mineral water that we drink, and we just throw the empty bottle in the bin. Can we collect them? Well, everybody said, let's try. And the lab technicians and a few students got into teams and they started preparing solutions in the laboratory. It went on for 1.5 months. Thereafter, by the first 2 days after this suggestion, they roamed about in all the buildings of the campus, the hostel building, the lab building, the administrative building, the college building, and they collected waste water bottles from the dustbins. Now they dissolved these water bottles when they found an appropriate solution. And the membrane that they made from it, that membrane was a nano non-woven membrane which can straight away be used as a mask. They patented it, went into industrial production, and N95 quality affordable mask. This IIT first and second year students, they made it from waste water bottles. So I can do in the midst of they had opposing forces, complete lockdown. But still, when they decided, they did it. So my point is that first point was determination to do. Second is, and putting all your resources putting all the intelligence that you have, putting all the experience that you have, seeking all the help around, well in the midst of opposing forces, well in the midst of situations not conducive, you can still do it if you decide to do it. That yes, I want to do it. And with that, they really did it. And today, after the patent, I would tell you many Western countries, they bought the patent, they approached the IIT for the patent, and see, the students can make a wonderful future out of it. So this is an expression of within, which everybody of you possess. The only thing is that you have to remove that layer upon that expression and express yourself fully. Another situation where things are not conducive, not supportive, just opposing. Keep your mind open, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. Many a times I tell when I'm talking to young students like you that as there are amount of droplets of water in the sea, as there are amount of oxygen atoms in air, there are equal amount of opportunities around you. If you keep your minds open, if you keep your eyes open, if you keep your ears open, you'll be able to grab those opportunities and bring success, even in the midst of all opposing forces. One fine weekend evening in Paris, a friend who had come from the United States and worked the whole week there, he was on a work tour. He calls up his local friend there in Paris and said, let's go for a dinner together. And so both the friends, they met at the hotel and sat for a dinner and a long chat. After maybe about 1.5 to 2 hours, when they came out in the porch of the hotel, they found there was a long queue of people there. And very surprised, they asked these receptionists, ma'am, why this long queue? And the receptionist, she said that, sir, it's heavy snowfall in the entire city of Paris at the moment. So the traffic is jammed. In some streets, it is moving very slowly. So now this is the queue of those people who had come to the hotel by cabs. Those people who had come by their own cars, they already left. But these people are stranded here. They're waiting for the cab. And since the traffic is moving very slowly, we are getting less cabs in our street. And more than that, we are right in the middle of the street. The whole street is the food street. We have restaurants and hotels here. So any cab entering would get hired in the first and the second and the third hotel or restaurant. So we are getting less cabs here. But, well, sir, have you come by your own car or you come by cab? And this both gentlemen decide, well, we have come by a cab. Then the receptionist, she said that, sir, then please join the queue. Well, no option, and they joined the queue. Now, they found that the rate at which the queue was moving, it would take at least 2.5 to 3 hours for them to get a cab. They got stranded. What would we do if we were at that place? Oh my God, I'm stranded. Maybe you will click a selfie with the long queue and share it on your social medias and get some sympathy from your friends. Or maybe you will just open the WhatsApp and chat with your friends. Or maybe you, if you have a couple of mails to answer, you would do that. All this activity, I don't say it's wrong, but that was simple time pass. Can you ask a question to yourself in these times that, can I help the situation? If you can ask this question, and if you get an answer, that opens the door for success in the midst of opposing forces. So the forces for these two young men were also opposing, but they asked this question to themselves, that every winter, on many evenings, in the snow falling countries, people might be getting stranded because of heavy snowfalls. Can I help the situation? From this question, they came up after a discussion. So they creatively used their time standing in the queue. Can we make a mobile app on which a person can order for a cab maybe 20, 30 minutes before actually he wants it? And in the written answer, he gets the name of the driver, the mobile number of the driver, and then the number of the cab. And well, so he can plan out that time and he can be comfortable at his place. So that was all discussed. Some technicalities discussed. By the time they had their uh, turn in the queue, they got a cab, went back to their apartment. A couple of days later, the friend who had come from the United States flew back to California. Well, keeping constantly in touch and chatting with each other and exchanging the technicalities of it, they designed the mobile app. Introduced in 5, 7, 10 cabs in California, successful. 1,500 cabs was successful. 500,000 cabs was successful. And today, let me tell you, young friends, that app provides 3 million rides a day in 66 countries of the world. I'm talking of none other than Uber. This is the history of Uber. And those two young men, the creator of Uber, who got stranded on that snowy night in Paris, was none other than Travis Kalanick himself, the owner of Uber, the creator of Uber, and his little known friend and little known partner, business partner, Mr. Garrett. So this is the story of Uber. Well, if you would have sat at that place scratching your head, oh my God, 2.5, 3 hours, what would I do? And just passed your time. But these two people ask themselves, can I help the situation? So any situation that you are put in, which is opposing, which is not conducive, which is not supportive, which you don't like, don't get disturbed. If you get disturbed, success goes miles away from you. But if you don't get disturbed and just face it, not just face it, challenge it, not just challenge it, ride it. These two young men rode the situation. They didn't just challenge the situation, but they rode the situation. Before they got the cab for a ride, they took the situation for a ride. That is the attitude. Well, can I help the situation? Always ask this question to yourself. Can I help the situation? And they found Uber. And from that, many other such cabs came into existence. What I mean to say is, my third point in telling you is this. Don't get bogged down by the situation. Any situation that props up in your life, face it, challenge it, ride it. This comes by the inner self that you have cultivated. And that inner self gets cultivated by determination, by intense hard work, and by keeping your mind, eyes, and ears open, that is acceptance of the ideas of others. The organization that I come from, the DAPS Swami and Sons, is one of the largest NGOs of the world with a permanent status in the United Nations as an NGO. We have our presence in more than 60 countries of the world, and we do 162 different kinds of social, educational, medical, environmental, culture, moral activities all over the world. We have been the recipient of many national and international awards in various fields. You all are the citizens of the city of Vadodara, and me too. I'm also here in Vadodara, and we are in the same city. You might have many times passed by our temple here in Atladra. The whole campus has a 75-year-old temple. We have a 100-bed multi-speciality hospital, the one of its kind. You won't find any other hospital in the city of Vadodara which is run by a trust and is run so efficiently and professionally like any American standard hospital. Besides that, we have a 250 students capacity hostel. Behind that, we have a naturopathy and homeopathy hospital, again of 30 to 40 beds. Besides that, we have a 1,200 students residential English medium and Gujarati medium school. And again, 75 rooms for lodging and boarding facilities. And now we are coming up with 13,000 sitting capacity, pillarless AC auditorium. You want what I'm talking? 13,000 sitting capacity, pillarless auditorium, AC auditorium. The plans have passed and we'll come up with that, which is the biggest of its kind in the central part of the state. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, in his lifetime, in the span of 45 years, see what determination and intense hard work can bring you success in all situations. In 45 years of his guruship, he created 1,400 campuses, institutions, 1,400 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, sanskar kendras, sanskar dhams, mandirs, and akshardhams. You might all have visited Swami and Akshardham at Gandhinagar or Delhi. Just raise your hands if you've been to Akshardham at Gandhinagar or Delhi. Quite many of you. You have visited. So that was the creation of Pramukh Swami Maharaj. At present, we are coming up with 265 acres of Akshardham campus at Robbinsville in New Jersey, at Johannesburg in South Africa, at Sydney in Australia. And you all might be surprised that the ruler of Abu Dhabi, His Royal Highness Sheikh Zayed, gifted us, the BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha, 27 acres of land on Dubai Abu Dhabi Expressway, which is popularly known as the Sheikh Zayed Expressway, to come up with Akshardham like campus. We've already come up to the foundation level of construction, and by 2023 we will inaugurate the first traditional Hindu monument in the entire Middle East in Abu Dhabi. All this was done by Pramukh Swami Maharaj. Imagine in 45 years, 1,400 institutions kept in the service of society. That means every 15th day, every second week, Pramukh Swami Maharaj purchased the land, got it legally cleared, decided what to do upon it: hostel, hospital, school, college, mandir, whatever. The architect designs the plans passed in the local departments, government departments, the funds raised for it, construction tenders out, tenders finalized, construction started, construction completed, inauguration ceremony held, and that institute put in the service of society. Every 15th day, that is every second week, Pramukh Swami Maharaj did this, the sequence that I told you, for 45 years and created 1,400 institutes. Even if you ask a developer or a builder, if you meet any builder or developer in the city of Vadodara, ask him that, have you just seen 1,400 lands? Forgetting purchasing 1,400 lands. Pramukh Swami Maharaj purchased 1,400 lands and construction did on 1,400 lands, and that too selfless service institutions. This is a mind-boggling statistics. This is, I tell you, beyond Guinness Book of World Records. Guinness Book of World Records doesn't have the capacity to store this record. No. The statistics are mind-boggling. And tell you, more than 40% of it, he did it after the age of 85. Of this that I'm talking, more than 40% of this work he did after the age of 85, between the age of 85 and 95. Now again, this is like mind-boggling. What I mean to say is that if you decide, you can. If you determine, you can. If you have the intention, you can. If you keep your minds, eyes, ears open, you can. He initiated 1,100 saints like us. And you know, of the 1,100 that we are, more than 750 of them are graduates, postgraduates, chartered accountants, doctors, and engineers. And seeing all you young faces, it reminds me of my high school days, standard 8, 9, 10th, 11th, 12th, when I was talking decades back. So this is how. And lastly, I would say some values and virtues in your life. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज को किसी ने पूछा कि कौन सा विचार आपके मन में हमेशा रहता है, which thought remains with you 24/7. उन्होंने कहा, जो विचार मुझे कभी नहीं आया मैं पता हुआ. That was more interesting. प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज ने कहा, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज said, किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार मुझे जीवन में कभी नहीं आया. Take these words and put it on your heart. Inscribe it in your heart. किसी का भी अहित हो ऐसा विचार मुझे जीवन में कभी नहीं आया. Not hurting anybody physically, mentally, emotionally. That is the biggest value, biggest virtue, which will bring you success and by making you rock solid in the midst of opposing forces. You will be like a rock of Gibraltar, standing tall, straight, and firm in the midst of all storms. That when I have not done anything wrong, in my life. Situation has to help me. People has to help me. My intellect, my talent, my experience has to help me. And above all this, God's grace has to help me because I've not done wrong anything in my life. So if you walk on the path of ethics, morals, and disciplines, in the last 1 minute, I would like to tell you all students that you are yet to enter into the commercial world, into the professional world, which you will in a few years to come. You will get many opportunities to scale heights, but never take the unethical path. Take this advice very seriously from us today, from us generation. I think Ashwin Bhai well agrees with me, Samir Parikh well agrees with me, Amit Dholakya well agrees with me. Don't and never take the unethical path. It may be a shortcut to success. It may give you initial gains. It may give you good initial money, but all this will ruin you. It will ruin your family. It will ruin your career. It will ruin your future. It has the power to throw you deep into depression, deep into stress, and even it can drive you to suicide. It can drive you to suicide if you've chartered an unethical path. Don't do anything wrong. Even if you get less, gain less, never ever deviate from the ethical path. That is your character. When it is strong, you are strong. So, thank you very much for patiently listening to me. Again, my best wishes and congratulations to all the finalists today in the 8th Annual LEAD Awards. My best wishes to the organization to the extent that from the interstate, you may go international in the coming weeks and physically host this function this time in Vadodara, next time in Mumbai, third time in London, fourth time in New York, maybe fifth time in Paris. I want to see LEAD Awards being organized at all these places in the years to come. I put my best wishes from the innermost heart for all the LEAD Awards team, the Governing Council, all the supporting members, and also the companies and the individuals who have sponsored the event today. May Bhagwan Swami Narayan, my Guru Hari Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and Mohan Sai Maharaj bless you all. Thank you very much, and all my prayers for you all.